Hello friends and welcome back to Towne Yoga. I am here with #1 student Buddy at the top of the mat for a bit of an educational video today. So we're going to break down 3 ways that you can use your yoga blanket to really enhance your practice, whether you're at home or at the studio. So there are certain places where you might spend a little more time than others in a yoga class, and sometimes if you're uncomfortable in that base, all the poses and postures that come out of it can be a challenge. So we're going to think about places where this blanket can really provide some fundamental support, so that way when you're in that position, all the postures out there can be enhanced. And the first one of our 3 here is actually seat, this cross of the ankles. There's a lot of great poses from simple seat. There's a seated cat-cow, some circles, some really nice like chest openers, but if you're uncomfortable in your seat, all of those are kind of a little bit less enjoyable, less easy to explore what you might want to explore. So let's find more comfort in this seat. One common thing is not being able to stack your shoulders over your hips, and typically what you'll feel if you have kind of some tightness in the base here is that your lower back is going to be a bit more rounded, and you might even feel your knees kind of drawing up. So if that's the case for you and you're kind of in this uncomfortable balance spot while you're trying to do everything else, one thing you can do is lift your pelvis up higher. So by just lifting yourself away from the ground, you kind of have more space to open up and to find that shoulder stack over hips. So a blanket's a great way to lift you up. A traditional yoga blanket will usually be at this kind of size here. I like to fold it one more time, and that way you have this nice little square to sit on, and that's just going to elevate right underneath your pelvis. So that way you can cross the ankles just in front of your seat. And now with that little bit more lift, you might more easily be able to find the shoulders stacking over the hips with the natural curves of the spine preserved, and maybe a little bit more resting in the knees. They're not kind of pinching up so much. You can go higher as well. You can stack blankets, add bolsters, that kind of thing. But if it's just a little discomfort, this lift from the blanket might be enough to make you comfortable in simple seat across ankles, so that way you can enjoy the poses from here more. So that's one way we can use this blanket to really enhance our practice. The next one we're going to do from tabletop, and that's hands and knees. So there's a lot of postures that come out of there that can feel really good to explore, and especially if you have kind of things going on in the back, shoulders, and neck, common places for things to be going on. So you want to be comfortable when you're in tabletop. I'm going to bring feet off to the side to kind of rock to hands and knees, and then the first way to use the blanket would simply be for cushion. So you'll get this cued in a lot of classes where the blanket's just placed under your knees. And that way when you're here in tabletop, it's a little bit more comfortable. I like to add to this because sometimes we ignore that the ankles can suffer in tabletop. When an instructor asks you to kind of press the tops of your feet to the mat, if you don't have that full range of motion in the ankle to do so, maybe you're here when you extend, then usually we end up kind of pushing the heel out to the side to try to get the top of our foot down to the mat. And that's not great alignment, where we're looking for the toes, the heel, and the knee to all kind of stay in a line. So to support this ankle crease, to keep the alignment of our toes and our heel, what I like to do is take the blanket and open it one time so that it's a bit longer along the mat. So that way we're still going to have cushion under our knees, but now with this extra material to the back, you can roll it and it can support the crease of your ankle. So that way you can leave your heel facing upward as you press down into the mat. So this is a really good stepping stone if that range of motion isn't there, because it's so adjustable. If you need a lot of support, you can take a lot of support. If you just need a little bit of support, then you can just add very little. So it's very versatile to use the blanket and tabletop to support your knees as well as your ankles if you're kind of looking for that nice, stable alignment while you're developing the range of motion in your ankle. If you ever get to that full range of motion, you can use your blanket for your entire life, and that's great. So now you can have a nice knees under hips, shoulders over the wrists, and the heels pointing upward as you press the tops of your feet down for all those really great tabletop poses. And now the last place where the blanket can be really helpful is very similar to this ankle support, but for underneath the neck when you're in reclined postures, when you're laying back. So this is when I start with the blanket in its kind of traditional fold here at the top of the mat. And then this bottom end can just be folded if you want a little extra support underneath the neck. So it's again very adjustable. You can just do a little, you can leave it just like this as support. So when you come to reclined, laying on your back here, that blanket might just support the head, or again, I like to take a little fold at the base to really have some support underneath the neck and the base of the skull. And then whatever reclined postures and maybe nice stretches you're working on from here, you can have a more comfortable neck when you do so, including Savasana, the best resting pose at the end. So there are 3 ways that you can use your yoga blanket to kind of enhance some positions that you're going to spend a bit more time in your yoga practice. If you're an instructor and you stopped by, please take these into your class if they work for your style of teaching. I happen to love using props, so look forward to more tutorials where we use our props in some creative ways to enhance the practice. Please comment, let me know if it's helpful, let me know if there are other props you're wondering about or questions that you have. That's a great way for me to see where the need is and make some more videos to meet that. If you can also support by subscribing to the channel and heading over to be a monthly supporter at patreon.com. You can search for Towne Yoga, and I have a community there that I'm trying to build up. I would love for you to be a member. And if this little nugget enhances your practice and you want to show support with a one-time donation, there is a link for that below as well. Thank you for joining in. I hope this helps in some way in your practice. Interact, let me know how, let me know where we can go next. And I'm going to end this tutorial as I end traditional practices with palms at heart center, an opportunity to let you know that the light in me honors and respects the light in you. Namaste. We did it, buddy. We're back. We filmed. Yay!